Hello, Admirals. Alright, so I'm going to put out a quick tutorial here for how to use the Dropfleet mod for Tabletop Simulator. You can get it from the Steam Workshop for Tabletop Simulator. It's free, so all you have to do is subscribe and then you'll be able to load up the module. So when you first load up, it's going to have this Traffic James mission set up from the Michigan GT tournament packet. But you can move the clusters and space stations around as you'd like, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So to get started, you'll come over to the fleet bags on the side here, and you'll right-click and hit search, and then you'll get out the ships that you want. Now there's only one copy of each ship, so if you need multiple gin, you have to press Control C and then Control V for where you'd like to place the gin. And you can do the same with some Nakar, and what else do we need? Maybe a gargoyle here. Okay, so in order to maybe create a battle group, you would highlight the models that you want, right-click on them, go to the color tint, and just change it to a nice green color, and so now you've got a green battle group. Can do the same with this Nakar, switch this to blue, and we'll make this guy pink. So we've quickly changed the colors for the different battle groups. If you want to go ahead and actually add those to your activation cards, just come down to the activation cards here. Go ahead and draw them. If any of the cards are flipped over, you can hit the F key on your keyboard, and that'll let you flip them over. Now these cards are blank. You're not going to actually see any text on them, but what you can do, and I'm going to drag this card out, you can right-click on the card. Say we're going to call this Pathfinder 1 SR4, and for the description we'll say 4 gin. When you click off of that and hover over it, it'll show on the table so your opponent and you both can see that this one's an SR rating of 4 and it's got the 4 gin. And what you can actually do is go to DF list and just copy and paste the printout, and you can just put in all the details right here on these cards. So for this one, I'll go ahead and say 1 Nakar. Oops. We'll say Pathfinder 2, 1 Nakar, SR1. So that's how you can set up your activation cards. But let's go back to our models for a second because I think I jumped the gun. So you can pick up the models by holding the left mouse button. You can rotate them by pressing Q and E to change the facing. If you want to move the model, hold down the left mouse button, then hold the tab key, and you'll get a ruler icon. Then you just go ahead and move it in your straight line, and I'm just going to move this guy 10 inches, and there he goes. If you're stuck with the ruler icon, you can press the F1 key on your keyboard, and you get the hand back. Alright. So, let me go back into the Scourge bag. I'm going to search. I'm going to pull out the faction deck real quick. Alright, once that's loaded, we can go ahead and draw those cards. So I'm just drawing a couple of cards here. What you see right here, if it's floating on the table, your opponent cannot see, or floating above the table rather, your opponent can't see. If I had an opponent and he'd be over here, they just see like grayed out cards, so they don't know what's in your hand. Now you can zoom in on them to look at them when they're in your hand, or you can hold the Alt key on your keyboard and hover over any card, or really anything on the table, and it'll make it big so you can see what exactly It is. So if your opponent goes ahead and plays skillful shot on one of your ships, you can go ahead, hit Alt on it, and you can just read the card. So that's pretty handy. All right. Over in the corner here, we've got major and minor spikes. So the way that I've been playing is just go ahead, stick them next to the ship in question. If the ship's in low orbit, we just put a low orbit token right next to it. So you've got those tokens over here. Then you've got your kind of launch assets between the torpedoes, your infantry, armor, and then your opponent has the same of the different color on the side. In this bag over here, we've got the clusters and terrain. If we hit search, say I want 4 sectors here, or a cluster with 4 sectors. Then I get out the sectors and I'll put a power plant. Maybe I want 2 industrial and a commercial. So what I'll have to do is just copy this and paste it. And then you could just pick up the sector and move it around. All right. So that's how you can set up the table. In this bag, the brown bag is the status tokens. If you search this, you can get out your orbital decay. So let's say that gargoyle has that, and this Jin gets knocked over because I hit it with the fire token there. So you can just place those. If you were playing against an opponent, in the top right corner, their name would show up on the screen here. And this card down here kind of tells you what you need to do. Is you need to promote them. So you'll click on their name and click promote. And that'll let them copy elements on the table so they can do that. All right, so then the next thing that you'll want to do is go to Objects, Components, and get out some dice. And you can just make copies of the dice. You can change the color, so if you were a PHR player, you can just switch them to gray, and now you've got your gray PHR dice. I've been using D20s to track damage, so you can just copy these on the table and stick those next to the ships. If you right click on the D20, you can set the rotational value. So if it took, if it's down to 14 hit points, just click 14 and that's what it is, and you can just stick that next to the ship. All right, that is basically the system. If there's any questions, go ahead, leave comments. I can address them. But it's fun. It's quick and easy to set up games and, roll some dice and have some fun. All right, thanks.